Hi guys, what is going on, and welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's vlog. It has been months since I've done an actual vlog. I feel like my recent videos have been sit down chatty ones, but for today I'm going to bring you through a bit of my day and have a little bit of a catch up. I honestly have a lot I need to record over the next few weeks. I want to give you a whole apartment tour again and show you the renovations I've done over the last few months. I want to bring you through some workouts. I want to do some full day of eating videos. I honestly can't get them done quick enough, but for today, my plan is to have some food and bring you through a full mic'd up leg workout. I'm also going to bring you through some of my fitness goals and talk through some of the things that I've sort of implemented recently for myself again. I feel like I've really gone through a bit of a reset over the last 4 to 6 weeks. I'm going to bring you through some of the things that I've implemented myself to make sure that I'm on track and making the most out of my plan at the moment. So I have a big leg day on the cards today. Last week I was a little bit out of routine. When I say out of routine, I just mean that I wasn't at home. Like, I was actually still quite on track, to be fair, especially for while I was traveling and away and stuff. I was still on track, but I didn't have access to my usual gym. And it's obviously really hard to track your lifts when you're using different machines, different gyms and stuff. So I've been waiting for this leg day because last week I was in Galway and then I was home for a day and then I was in Stockholm. And this is like my first proper leg session back. So I'm very excited to just get in there and hopefully beat my numbers from the previous week. But for now, I'm making my pre-workout meal. My supplement drawer is a little bit of a mess at the moment, but we're just going to ignore that. I'm going to go for the Clear Whey today. I'm not sure if I actually showed you this on my YouTube yet, but Women's Best finally have a Clear Whey. Like, my prayers have been answered. So it's like a juice rather than having a creamy protein shake. One thing to note about the Clear Wheys though is that you don't really mix them with your oats. I've tried it and I've failed miserably at trying to mix this in with other things. I would recommend, if you're getting a Clear Whey, to just have it as a protein shake. Don't try and mix it with things because it just didn't really work out for me anyway. Unless you have any hacks that I'm unaware of, let me know. So if you're using protein powder to mix in with your oats or baking protein cookies or brownies or whatever, then I do think the regular whey isolate is a better shout. But if you're someone that likes to just down a protein shake like me, then the Clear Whey is really refreshing and it's like a juice. So for my pre-workout protein, I'm going to be having a shake of this. I'm also going to be having some Weetabix, my usual. If you've been here for a while, guys, you know my obsession with Weetabix as a pre-workout meal. It's so light on the stomach, high in carbs, and out of the 26 grams of carbs per 2 biscuits, there's only 1.6 gram of those sugars. So it's slow releasing energy as you're working out, which is ideal because you don't want to get that sugar crash mid-workout. I am going to have my usual lactose-free milk, going to have a banana, not sure why the bananas were in the fridge, and I'm going to throw some berries on top of that as well. So let's put this together, and I'm going to give myself probably 40 minutes or so before I start heading to the gym to allow myself some time to digest it before I start training. Hey guys, we just got to the gym. As I mentioned, we're doing a leg workout today, but as I also mentioned earlier, I implemented a few things over the last few weeks, maybe the last 4 to 6 weeks or so, that really have made a massive difference. A few things that I sort of fell out of doing consistently, and one of them is having a proper logbook. Alex actually gave me this logbook. I think he got it off a magazine or something. I don't even actually know the brand, but as you can see here, we have a section, strength training. You can say your exercise, your reps, your weight, your notes, and you can rate your workout. And I usually do this in my notes on my phone, but I found I got a little bit inconsistent. I was training in different gyms as I was traveling and things, so having a physical notepad just makes me more consistent. I like being able to see it and actually use it during my sessions instead of getting distracted on my phone and flicking onto other apps while I'm training. We're all guilty of it. And then another thing that I've started doing, which I fell out of, is just wearing my Apple Watch consistently. I do need to get another strap. It's the only thing about the Apple Watch that I do find that if I'm at the gym, no problem. If I'm going on my walk, no problem. But if I'm in a dress, or if I'm just wearing something dressy and I have this big dirty black strap, I'm not feeling the strap. So if you have any strap recommendations, let me know. I'm just making excuses, to be honest, because I stopped wearing it consistently. Forgot to charge it a few times, and honestly guys, small things like this, being able to track your everyday activity, it makes a huge difference. So logging my workouts, tracking my steps, tracking my sleep, and I'm feeling amazing. To be honest, it's been a couple of weeks where I was off track, and these things definitely helped. We're starting on my favorite leg press of all time. It's a single leg press, thing I love about a single leg movement is that if you have any muscular imbalances, if you have one leg stronger than the other, which I actually had when I started training, because I used to play basketball and I jumped off only my right leg. So when I started lifting, my left leg was way weaker. But a machine like this is going to solve issues like that over time, because you give yourself a chance to, you know, recognize where the weak points are and make sure you're able to do the same amount of reps and the same amount of weight on each leg. A few things you want to look out for when you're leg pressing. Firstly, with a machine like this, you can adjust the seat, so make sure you use it and adjust it to your height. You want to make sure that you're getting deep enough so you get a good stretch in your quad, and you'll also target more glutes the deeper you go, but you also don't want to go too deep to the point where your lower back is lifting off the seat, so you can hurt your lower back by doing that. Another thing you don't want to do on the leg press is lock out your knees. I don't know if you've seen those videos on like TikTok or Twitter when people leg press, lock out their knees, and it's a horror story, guys. We want to avoid that at all costs. Knee sleeve hack, guys. I'm sure I've shown this before, but if you half it, fold it over and then put it on. Instead of like trying to drag it up your calf like that, I feel like my leggings always get stuck in it. Fold her over, right? Take off your shoes, obviously. Slide it up to where you kind of want it, and then unfold. Ta-da! Also, we had a massive restock and a revamp of our accessories on the site. These are our lovely new black knee sleeves, and they're all in stock now. Are you going any heavier?
I will be going heavier.
You will be?
Yeah.
Does that mean I have to as well?
It means you're going to play catch up. 1 for 1.
Oh God, here we go. Yeah, if you see me with a torn quad next week, guys, you know why. Hey guys, next up we're moving on to my favorite movement. My second favorite movement, actually. We're going on to my favorite one next. But we're doing the barbell hip thrust. So if you want to grow your glutes, and if you're not doing barbell hip thrusts, then what are you doing? Like, get on it. They're an intimidating movement, don't get me wrong, especially when you start out. I remember when I started in the gym, like, the last thing I ever wanted to do was set this thing up. But as soon as I did and got over my initial fear of it, I've been reaping the rewards from it since. So, with your hip thrust, I know I brought you through this a lot of times, guys, if you've been watching my channel, but for anyone new here, my tips with the hip thrust. Firstly, the height has to be correct. I'm just lucky because this gym has the perfect height set up for me. I feel like they actually went and designed it specifically for anyone that's 5'3". It's perfect, so I don't need to adjust my bench thankfully here. You want to have a comfortable pad. The last thing you need when you're hip thrusting and trying to hit PBs is an uncomfortable setup, and that will stop you from increasing your weight. So make sure you have a comfortable pad. You want to keep your pins on side, your clips, whatever you want to call them. I have a horror story myself from what happened when I first started training. I'll tell you actually. First started training, I'd say I was training about 9 months, and I was in very busy gym at rush hour, and I didn't put the pins on when I was barbell squatting, and I think you know what I'm going to say next. It literally just went, like, one of the plates went sliding off and the other one just went like this. Even to this day, like, I still can't even talk about it. It was so embarrassing, and it was so loud. It was so loud, like I couldn't even recreate how loud that sound was. So I'm very careful with my clips ever since then. Another thing that's really important with this, guys, you want to make sure that your chin is tucked. The last thing you want when you're hip thrusting is to have your neck back like this. It's a recipe for disaster and you can really hurt yourself. So make sure your chin is tucked. And when you're doing the movement, you want to make sure your knees are in line with your ankles, and you don't want to overextend your back. I love and hate these so much at the same time, but if you get it right, if you know you're confident with your setup, this is like the one movement that you need to be doing if you want to develop your glutes. Here is an example of something that makes me extremely uneasy. I understand the physics, right? I get it. But like, no, Alex, please stop. I don't like it. Stop that now. Stop that right now. How much does it go? Ah, stop. Very cramped. Okay, next up, we're moving on to a Smith machine lunge. You'll often see me doing lunges in my workouts. More times than not, I'm doing a dumbbell static lunge. I just absolutely swear by that movement for targeting your glutes and your quads, but recently I've changed it up and I've started doing them on the Smith machine. 2 reasons. First reason is because as soon as I start getting heavier with my dumbbells, I find myself almost like curling over with the weight, and I do find with the Smith machine that it keeps me a little bit more upright, like you're forced into an upright position, which is great. Another thing I like about the Smith machine is the fact that it's a nice smooth movement. There's no wobbling around, you know, you're nice and secure because it's going to move you directly up and down, which is what we like. And again, guys, you're going to notice another single leg movement. If I have a single leg option, I'm going to take it because you're engaging your core, and if there's any muscular imbalances, you're going to be targeting them when you're doing single leg movements. Also, before I start my set, another reason that I wasn't previously doing the Smith machine squat was because of my lower back. If you've been watching me for a while, guys, I have a bit of a dodgy lower back. So when I have a bar in my back previously, it didn't feel too good. I could feel like a little bit of compression. So I've kind of avoided putting a barbell or like a Smith machine on my back for a while, but she's been feeling good. I feel like I'm finally like 99% recovered from that back injury, and I can put some load on my back again without any pain. So that's why I'm experimenting with the Smith machine instead, and I've really been enjoying it. One thing I didn't do before today's workout was take some pre-workout, because I had like 2 cups of coffee, lots of calls early in the morning, and now kind of regretting it because I could do with it. The only thing that happens to me though is if I have coffee and then if I have pre-workout, it either goes really well or really badly. I'm either absolutely pumped, really focused, or else I'm riddled with anxiety and get heart palpitations. So I didn't want to risk it today. Next up, we're moving on to my favorite movement at the moment. It's been my favorite now, I must say, for the last 8 months or so. The dumbbell RDL, you can't go wrong. It's not only great for developing your hamstrings and glutes, but your entire posterior chain is going to be targeted with this movement. So when you can do them, add them to your program and make sure you're progressively overloading with them, because they're a great movement for, as I mentioned, developing the whole posterior chain. Tip for the RDLs, guys, if you want to target more glutes, make sure you have a slight bend in your knee. So you don't want your knee to be like completely straight like this. You want a tiny bit of a bend, feet shoulder width apart, and you're like almost focusing on pushing your glutes towards the back wall of the gym instead of like bending over with your waist. Slight bend and push your glutes back. Another tip, you don't need to touch the floor with the dumbbell. You don't need to go all the way down to the ground. You can easily pull a hamstring doing that using really heavy weight. So just go to, I would say, under the knee, like with halfway down the calf is enough for me. Back up, and no need to push your glutes forward. Just to about here, keeping your glutes flexed the entire time. I'm using my Versa grips for these guys always because my hamstrings are much stronger than my grip strength. So if you ever find that you're giving up early because your wrists are giving up instead of the muscle group you're targeting, then a Versa grip is a great option. Okay guys, we are moving on to the last movement. So I'm going to be doing a glute kickback. Alex is reluctantly not joining me for this one, but I understand. So as you can tell guys from the layout of today's workout, if you've been watching me for a few years, there's not much that really changes in my workouts. Like, you stick to the basics, do them well, do them over time and repeat it week in, week out and get progressively stronger. And that's what's going to get you results instead of following like the latest TikTok trend or any crazy workouts or exercises. Lay the foundations, perfect the basics, do it over and over again, and the results will come. With your glute kickback guys, you want to make sure that your ankle is pretty much in line with the buckle. So this is the one that I normally keep it on. If you put it too low to the ground, which would be like there, you're going to strain your lower back when you're kicking back. A lot of people that complain about back pain with the kickbacks If your cable machine goes down fully to the ground, you don't need to have it fully on the ground. Have this in line with your ankle if you can do that with your cable. If not, what I often do is actually get like a little stepper. If you have a cable machine that doesn't go down this low, get yourself a stepper and make sure that your ankle is in line with this to get the best connection in the glutes. Another thing I like to do with my kickback, which I'm just going to demonstrate for you now, instead of having my leg straight, I like to have a little bit of an angle in my foot, so you're targeting the glute medius when you're doing this. Another tip for glute kickbacks, you don't want to be completely upright and you don't want to be completely bent over either. I feel like here is the perfect kind of middle ground for your kickback. Anyway guys, that is today's workout wrapped up. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this style video of me bringing you through what I'm up to and explaining the exercises as I go. I hope it's a little bit more informative for you. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.